tonight's film, A Girl and a Gun. I feel I should sing this song. Girl and a Gun. Thank you for the music. It was incredible. So, you know, we're not often this lucky that we get to introduce a film by somebody that we cherish deeply as a friend and respect so much as a filmmaker. And it is my distinct honor and privilege to bring Cathryn Czubek to the stage.
I just want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. It means so much to see so many great friends and family in the audience. And I want to huge thank you to Raphaela and Tom and Mistel and all the wonderful DOC NYC staff for your great work during this festival. And I'd love for you guys to stick around afterwards. We're going to have a Q&A with the crew and some special guests to answer all questions. So thank you again and enjoy. Thank you all so much for sticking around and coming tonight and sticking around for a great Q&A. We have some very special guests and a great crew to invite on stage. If I could bring you guys up. Jessica, our producer, Amanda Hughes, our editor. We have Robin Natanel and Margaret. I think you're in the audience too, Margaret. Yes. And I'd also like to thank Julia Haltigan for welcoming us on stage today with our music, and Andrew Hollander's in the audience too, our wonderful, wonderful composer. The process, well, the journey really began where I really wanted to understand kind of what guns meant to a variety of different women from a variety of different backgrounds. I grew up in the Midwest and from the South. I live in New York now, so obviously those are all very different areas with very different kind of attitudes and cultures around guns. So it was a really kind of wide search at first, and then I guess as I met more and more people over time and I realized how complex their stories and their relationships really were, those were the stories I kind of gravitated to.
And so we made the choice to, rather than follow one person, to show a broad landscape. But, you know, it's hard to figure out how to tell, what story to tell out of 400 hours of footage. So we definitely made sure to screen it, try to figure out what was relevant, what worked for people. We know the test screenings are always a bit of a bear, but they're worth it. Thank you for everybody who came to one.
It's really what spoke, I think, the strongest to all of us and the truest to kind of what we experienced over kind of the 8 years of, almost 8 years of making this. That was kind of the final project with featuring many different women.
It's the first time I've seen it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we love
And?
it. We absolutely love it. And yeah, is it funny for you to see yourself up there?
Oh boy. It's worse to even be here.
I think that I was happy that you didn't, choose other idiotic things I'd said. There had been so many times that I'd said something and gone, God, am I really that stupid? And then, so that was good. Good editing, yeah. But I think that was the thing I worried about when I got here. I was like, oh, don't make me look as dumb as I could be. I think that that's one of the things that I really appreciated about this film was that men are included in some way, even if it was, Eric and Matt, who's like saying, oh, God, I didn't know she could shoot. But, I appreciated that. And your story about men was so different than mine and all the other stories about men were so different from mine that I thought that was part of the arc of the story, and I appreciated that.
I was looking for women that really kind of encapsulated several different perspectives that I was kind of maybe hearing along the journey, and so that's why I ultimately chose the women that we did choose. And so the women I think that I ultimately ended up really focusing on had kind of a relationship with guns that changed over time. And I guess going back to the beginning of it, the project really began, there's a shooting range in Chelsea, and there's a women's league that Margaret shoots on that meets there once a month. And so when I discovered that back, I guess, 04, 05, I was so impressed by just the variety of women there and how many different backgrounds they're coming from, because in Manhattan, a lot of us are transplants. So we do come from, I come from Ohio, I come from Michigan, there's women from all over. And so that's where it became really interesting to me to kind of try to cast that net wide. And so Margaret and several of the women I filmed with in the club. And then it was kind of, it's so many different ways about how you find these women, but I'd have like an idea and then I'd pursue that idea, or I would be filming with someone and they'd say, you know, you have to meet this person. And so then they'd introduce me that way. But it's kind of been a crazy maze over the last few years of finding stories.
And did you start shooting, Cathryn?
I've, by nature's film, I've shot everything in the book. It's been kind of a rite of passage. I had a group of little girls that shot for recreation on a team after school. And little girls ages 11 to 15. And that was my first experience in a shooting range, being around guns. And they said to me, you know, if you're shooting us with your camera, you need to know what this feels like. So I shot my first gun with an 11-year-old little girl.
As
most of you have. Exactly. Yep. I guess what really carried me on through the 8 years of making this is that, like, one morning I would wake up in the morning with one idea and one kind of, and feeling like I really had it, and then I'd film with someone in the afternoon and go to bed completely kind of altered. And it shifted from story to story. So, and I just realized how complicated and how complex it is, and how much it's based on your own kind of sense of security, your own sense of vulnerability, what you wake up to every morning. If you wake up and you're in a gated community, it's very different than waking up and feeling incredibly terrified. So,
And the thing with the men, some appreciate it, some are terrified that I have one. A lot of times, oh, but I don't want you to hurt yourself. Okay. I went to a gun store recently. Mine wasn't working really well, and it must be something I was doing. It's broken. It's not something I am doing. So I just had wondered at that point if it was a question they would have asked a man. But so every day is a unique day. Today I had to leave it home because I can't bring it into New York. It doesn't make me happy. And that's about it. One thing I would like to say is about gun ownership. I think there needs to be more training. As a general rule, I didn't have to take a gun safety course to get my gun. And even I did take that course anyway, because there was a course after that I wanted to take. But so I took that course, and I honestly don't believe that course was enough for somebody to walk out of there and get a gun and the rest of us be safe.
Cathryn's point and Amanda's point about race and guns also comes into play in my family. My kids are African American. I don't want them to have a gun or anything that looks like a gun anywhere in the neighborhood. It's not safe for them. Nobody's looking at them twice going, oh, maybe this is a nice kid who's carrying his mother's gun because he's carrying it out to the car for her because she's going to go to a shoot upstate. No. So I probably haven't changed a whole lot in my relationship to gun ownership. I like guns. I like shooting them. They're fun. But they're not fun enough that I wouldn't give it all up if I thought for 1 minute that it would save one kid somewhere from getting hurt.
Well, there's a few people that in the film that did have illegal guns. So I've definitely found out about there. You know, it's very easy to get a gun. Margaret and I talked about this. That you know, from the Margaret's one of the very first people that I filmed with. I think that's why I kind of keep referencing it, like many years ago. But just how prolific they are and how easy it is to get them. And it doesn't break down by, you know, north, south, conservative, blue state, red state. It's, you know, kind of everywhere. I mean, it's a process. It's certainly a process to be able to, you know, get one legally and carry it on you. I mean, that's very, very, very difficult. So the other option would be yes. Go the non-legal route.
Well, you are officially the first audience in the world to see this film tonight, so please tell everyone about it.